Every 4 years, something happens to Americans that doesn't happen any other time. They care about soccer. Not all of them, not deeply, but for 3 weeks in June or July, the bars open early, the group chats wake up, and people who couldn't name a single MLS team in March are suddenly explaining the offside rule to their coworkers with a confidence that has no business existing. And somewhere in the middle of it, a goal, a save, a penalty shootout at midnight, something real happens. Something that doesn't feel borrowed from another country's sport. Something that feels, for the first time, actually American. This is every stage. From the kid who didn't know soccer existed, to the adult standing at a bar at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday with a scarf they bought 2 days ago, genuinely shaking. Not every stage ends in glory. Most of them end in heartbreak, or a missed qualification, or a goal in the 94th minute that ruins a week. You show up anyway. Every 4 years. You always show up. This is your life at every stage the USA plays at the World Cup. Stage 1. The kid who didn't know, age 6 to 8. You played soccer. Every American kid played soccer. Saturday mornings, shin guards, a field that was either too muddy or too dry, a coach named Dave, who also coached Little League and was doing his best. You liked it fine. It was running and a ball and juice boxes at the end. That was enough at 7. But the World Cup didn't register yet.
It happened somewhere far away, in countries with names that were hard to spell, involving players your parents couldn't name either. It wasn't on the main channels your family watched. It wasn't in the conversation. Soccer to you was something kids did on Saturday mornings. It was not yet something nations went to war over emotionally every 4 years. That understanding is coming, but not yet. For now, you just like the juice boxes. Stage 2, the first one you actually watched, age 9 to 12. Something catches your attention. A game is on. Maybe your parents left it on. Maybe a friend's family is watching. Maybe the score is on the ticker at the bottom of ESPN and it says USA, and you think, wait, we're in this? You sit down. You don't fully understand the rules beyond the basics. You know you can't use your hands. You know goals are hard to score. You know the goalkeeper can use their hands, which seems like cheating, but apparently isn't. The USA is playing. They're wearing white. The crowd is enormous. The stadium is somewhere overseas, and it's packed and loud in a way that American sporting events are loud differently. This is something older, something tribal, something that goes back further than any sport you've watched before. A player gets the ball, drives forward. The crowd rises. You lean forward on the couch. Maybe it goes in, maybe it doesn't. Either way, you feel something. That feeling is the beginning of the problem. What you don't know yet, you don't know about 1950.
You don't know about the USA beating England 1-0 in the biggest upset in World Cup history, in a game so shocking that the English press assumed the scoreline was a misprint when it came over the wire. You don't know about 1994, when America hosted and the country briefly, genuinely caught World Cup fever before collectively agreeing to forget about it for the next several years. You don't know about Donovan, Dempsey, Howard, Beasley, the names that are coming, the players who will make you care in a way that sticks. You just know the game is on, and the USA is in it, and you're watching. That's enough for now. That's always been enough. Stage 3, 2002, the one that made believers. You are old enough for this one to matter. Korea, Japan. The USA drawn into a group with Portugal, Korea, and Poland. The expectations? Survive the group stage, maybe. The result? Quarterfinals. The actual quarterfinals against Germany. A game the USA had no business being competitive in, and was, for long stretches, competitive in. If you were old enough to watch 2002, you remember the Portugal game. Clint Mathis, the goal, the celebration. The 3-2 win against a side that had just beaten Germany 4-0 in the warm-ups. You remember thinking, wait, we can actually do this. And then the quarterfinal. Torsten Frings handling the ball on the line to deny a certain goal. A handball so obvious it was visible from space. A handball the referee somehow missed. And the USA going out to Germany 1-0 on a goal that should never have stood.
This is your first real introduction to the World Cup as a concept. The concept is you can play well, do everything right, be this close, and the world will find a way to send you home anyway. Welcome to it. The identity shift. Something about 2002 changed the conversation. At school, at work, in barbershops, people were talking about it. Not just soccer people, regular people. People who didn't know what a touchline was were asking if you watched the Germany game. For a brief, luminous window, America cared about soccer. It didn't last, but the window existed, and everyone who looked through it during those 3 weeks in 2002 still remembers what they saw. Stage 4. The Donovan years. 2006, 2010. You have a player now, Landon Donovan. You can argue about his legacy, about whether he was truly world-class, about the 2010 Everton loan and what it meant, but in these years, watching Donovan play for the USA at a World Cup is the closest thing American soccer had to a star, in the way the rest of the world understood stars. 2006, Italy. The group stage, USA versus Italy. 10 men for long stretches on the American side after 2 red cards. A 1-1 draw that felt like a moral victory. A group stage exit that felt like a missed opportunity. A tournament that started with promise and ended quietly. You watched. You cared more than you expected to.
You went to work the next day and nobody mentioned it. That's 2006. 2010. Algeria. June 23rd. You know the date. 90 minutes. 90 minutes, and the USA had drawn with England, drawn with Slovenia after being 2 goals down, and now needed a win against Algeria to advance. And they had played 90 minutes of desperate, pressing, increasingly anxious football, and it was 0-0. And you were watching a sports bar or a living room, and the clock was ticking toward full time. And then, Donovan. The rebound. The finish. The sprint. The scream. I believe that we will win. That chant started in 2010, and it hasn't fully stopped. Even the people who learned it later, even the people who weren't there, they know it. Because 2010 made something. It made a sound that American soccer hadn't made before. A sound that said, we are here. We are real. And we actually believe this. The round of 16. Ghana. An early American lead, a Ghanaian equalizer, extra time, a goal, out. You were devastated in a way that surprised you. That's how you know it got you. Not when you celebrate, when losing actually hurts. Stage 5, 2014. The group of death and the goalkeeper. Group G. USA, Germany, Portugal.
Ghana. The draw comes out and every pundit in the world says the same thing. The Americans are going home early. The group of death. 3 of the best sides in the world. 1 ticket out of the group beyond Germany? No chance. Then, Ghana. Clint Dempsey, 30 seconds in. A goal so fast the Ghanaian goalkeeper was still adjusting his gloves. 1 minute, 32 seconds. The fastest goal in USA World Cup history. Then a Ghanaian equalizer. Then John Brooks. John Brooks, a 21-year-old defender born in Berlin who had never scored an international goal, rising to head home a corner in the 86th minute. You watched it happen. You may have made a noise you didn't plan to make. Then Portugal. A 2-1 lead with seconds remaining. The USA seconds from qualifying. And then Cristiano Ronaldo, because of course, crosses for Varela to head home in the 95th minute. 2-2. The group tightens back up.
And then Germany, a respectful 1-0 defeat. And then the round of 16. Belgium. Tim Howard, 16 saves. The man made 16 saves. They kept shooting and he kept saying no. The performance was so extraordinary that someone edited Tim Howard into historical photographs as the Secretary of Defense. The White House put out a statement. The White House about a soccer goalkeeper. The USA lost 2-1 in extra time. You cried or you didn't cry, but something in your chest did something when the final whistle went. That's Tim Howard's fault. That's what he built in those 90-plus minutes. The belief that maybe, somehow, it wouldn't end. That 16 saves meant 17 was coming. It didn't come. But you'll never forget the 16. Stage 6, 2017. The absence. There is no Stage 6. There is no World Cup for the United States in 2018. On October 10th, 2017,
In a qualifier that should have been a formality, the USA lost to Trinidad and Tobago 2-1. Trinidad and Tobago, who had already been eliminated, who had nothing to play for. The final whistle blew in Couva, and the USA was out. Not advancing, not going to Russia. Home, watching. For the first time since 1986, America was not at the World Cup. You watched the 2018 World Cup without a dog in the fight. You picked a team to root for. France, maybe, or Croatia, whoever was playing attractively. You watched the final. It was fine. It wasn't the same. You didn't fully appreciate what it meant to have the USA in it until the USA wasn't in it. That's how it always works. You don't know what something costs until you check and it's gone. Stage 7, 2022. The new generation. Qatar, November. The USA is back, and they look different. Pulisic, McKennie, Dest, Adams, Weah, Reyna. A group of players who grew up in the era where American kids actually went to Europe, actually developed in serious academies, actually competed at the highest club level before they were 20. This isn't the USA grinding out results on effort and organization. This is a team with actual quality, actual technical players, players who don't look out of place against the best in the world. The group stage. Wales, England, Iran. England, a 0-0 draw that felt, in the room you were watching it, like a statement. Not a victory, a statement. We are here. We belong here. You are England, and we held you to nothing. Iran, a 1-0 win. Pulisic, driving into the box, Scoring and immediately taken off injured. The image of him on a stretcher after the goal became something. An American putting his body on the line. You shared it, everyone shared it. The round of 16. Netherlands. You watched this one carefully. Or you watched it in a bar that opened early. Or you watched it on your phone with one earbud in, sitting somewhere you shouldn't have been watching a soccer game. It didn't matter. You watched. The USA played well. They were competitive. They pushed. They had their moments. They lost 3-1, but it was different from losing before. This wasn't going out and feeling like outsiders who'd gotten as far as they deserved. This was going out and feeling like something was being built, like the story wasn't over, like 2026 was already the sentence the 2022 tournament was building toward. Stage 8, 2026, the home tournament. This is the one. You know it. The whole country knows it. The USA co-hosting with Canada and Mexico. Games in New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, Atlanta, Seattle. The biggest World Cup in history by number of teams. 16 cities, 64 games minimum if the USA goes deep. And this team, this specific generation, the players who were 19 in 2022 are 23 in 2026. The ones who were 22 are 26. The peak years, the years when the talent that was visible in Qatar is fully formed, fully ready, playing on home soil in front of crowds that will be unlike anything American soccer has ever seen. You are going to watch these games differently, not on a phone with one earbud in,
Not in a bar that opened early as a novelty. In your city, in your stadium.
With 80,000 people who are not watching because it's a fun thing to do for 3 weeks every 4 years, with people who actually care. The group chat is already planning. Someone has already looked up ticket prices. Someone else has already said, it's just the group stage, the round of 16 games are the ones to get. Someone else has posted the fixture schedule with no context, just the schedule, and everyone understood immediately. This is what 2026 looks like from here. And you don't know what happens. Nobody does. The bracket hasn't been drawn, the games haven't been played, the heartbreak or the glory hasn't been written yet. But you're going to watch. Of course you're going to watch. You always watch. Somewhere, there is a kid at a Saturday morning soccer game. Shin guards slightly crooked, waiting for the juice box. They don't know about Donovan in the 91st minute. They don't know about Tim Howard's 16 saves. They don't know about Couva, about the group of death, about the qualifying disaster that sent a generation to watch the 2018 World Cup without a team to cheer for. They don't know about 2026. They don't know that in a few years, their city might host a World Cup match, and their parents will take them, and they will sit in a stadium with 80,000 people and watch the United States play in a World Cup on home soil, and something will click into place that will last the rest of their life. They just know the ball goes in the net. That's enough. That's always been enough. I believe that we will win. If this one gave you chills, like and subscribe.